All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new version of Cinderella, the graphics edition. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of The Ugly Stepsister, the newest film from director Emilie Blichfeldt. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Grimm's Fairy Tales is the ugly, disturbing, dark side of fairy tales itself. It is telling stories in a much more unsettling fashion, and so that's what The Ugly Stepsister is. It's a take on Cinderella, but told from one of the point of views of course, one of the stepsisters, and follows a character played by Myren, who, essence, plays Elvira, who is considered very unattractive to a lot of people. She is very much a young girl who is kind of falling for the prince. She wants to be kind of in his realm, kind of married to him. She has delusions of grandeur, I guess you could say. So in the process, her mother ends up marrying this gentleman who has a daughter played by Thea, Sofie, Loch Næss, and she, in essence, is the Cinderella character. The father dies. The stepmother, of course, becomes the household. They're very broke, and in the process, they want to attempt to garner the prince's favor, who is looking for a new bride. Well, as you can tell, this movie, because it's told from the stepsister's point of view, she is willing to do whatever it takes to become very, very beautiful, at least from her eyes and the people's eyes. So in a very graphic fashion, we see that transformation start to happen, which leads, if you know the Grimm's fairy tale story, it leads to a very disturbing conclusion, but this one goes even further in that conclusion. So that's kind of the story. It's from the point of view of one of the stepsisters and how she becomes very jealous of the beautiful nature of the Cinderella character in a lot of respects. So there you go. So The Ugly Stepsister has garnered quite the positive buzz. If you're apparently a huge horror fan, a huge body horror fan, this is something that you might want to watch. That's what I was told. It's a Norwegian film from Norway, so it's one of those movies where you do have to watch subtitles. But I'm always up for a good horror film, a good body horror film. I heard this was partly comedy, so I'm up for that as well. I love good dark comedies. But I'm always looking every year for that one film that's going to surprise me in the fact that it's willing to take chances and willing to go very unsettling. You know, Grimm's fairy tales were very dark and disturbing stories. So when I heard this is very much in that realm, I was really looking forward to that. So I got sent a screener for this. It comes out in theaters. Will probably be on Shudder very, very soon. And for my honest take of this movie, this is so far that movie of the year. It's a very dark, it's a very gritty, it's a very disturbing movie. It has a lot of crazy violence. It's one of the most unsettling endings to a movie I've seen in quite a while. But I think it's a movie that takes this material, which is a Cinderella story, puts a nice spin on it, and actually makes the stepsisters somewhat sympathetic with what they're going through. They're in a world where they need money. They're willing to do what it takes to make the money. And the fact that this poor girl, who has delusions of grandeur, like I said, starts to transform herself, and her mother is very much in her ear. Think about like mothers with celebrities and actors and actresses and musicians who kind of put their kids in this role of like, you have to do this, this, and this, and it becomes very toxic. Becomes very toxic for him. That's in essence what this movie is doing. It's making this girl into something that she truly is not. And she's not an ugly girl. She's just made to feel that way. So they do things to her that are very depressing in a lot of respects. And it's similar to something like The Substance, where it deals with feminism in the sense of like how women have to make themselves feel beautiful, make themselves feel special because the world looks, at them like they need to have plastic surgery or they need to, lose like a shit ton of weight or something like that. It's a story that is very reminiscent of like women have to put themselves in this box that they really don't need to put themselves in. And that's what this movie does. That's what the Cinderella story is. It's, people who find greed in nature and like find the unsatisfying end to people, to themselves. And it's what this movie does, is what Elvira's character does. She transforms herself into something she's not, and it leads to a conclusion that is very what you would expect a character like this to go through. And I found myself just kind of shocked and disgusted, but also awed and amazed by what Emilie Blichfeldt does in this movie. I think it's a wonderful first film for a director. I think it's a statement, similar like Corle Fashaw's The Substance. it's a movie that is portraying a message, using it in a story that is very familiar with the Cinderella story, adding body horror elements, and also adding some humor, because you can't help but laugh what this poor girl does to herself, because it's almost like a joke. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And you have to laugh because it's just so absurd. And that's what makes it a very dark comedy, because you're laughing at the nature of how silly and stupid and unsettling and disgusting it truly is. This is a girl that goes through many traumatic transformations. Her sister is watching from the sidelines going, what are you doing to yourself? And the mother can't help but be not supportive for her. She's like putting her in this box in this scenario. And I love this movie. I really do. I think it's fantastic. I think it's, it's a movie that is not going to be for everyone, especially people who don't like body horror. It's a movie that is going to disgust some people. There are some scenes in this movie that I'm like, that's a little, so that might be pushing the bounds a little too much for me, but it just is how I am. I can handle a lot of things, but certain things that they do in this movie are just like, ooh, that might be a little too much. But it's not as bad as some of the horror films I've seen recently. I think The Substance is way more unsettling, way more disturbing than this movie is. But I think this movie's messaging, and I think similar to like The Substance, is a movie about women who find themselves in an unfortunate, perilous situation that they can't get themselves out of. And therefore, I wholly recommend this, especially if you like horror films, especially if you like body horror films. It's a movie that really attempts to take the story of Cinderella and spin it on its head, and it does it successfully. So, also one other thing, I love the music. It feels very much like Tangerine Dream, Legend era type of thing, where it feels very fantastical and very, there's points where like the shots are like in like fog. There's like fog, and it's like kind of mystical and fantastical, and the music really portrays that kind of like unsettling, like unraveling nature of the poor girl's head, what she's going on in her head. But I think everybody's great in this. I think everybody is doing what they need to do to make this movie work, and I think it shows that Shudder just knows how to pick movies for horror sake. So there you go. But anyways, with that said, that's going to be my take on The Ugly Stepsister. Like I said, it will be in theaters, but it will also be on Shudder at some point in the near future. So definitely check it out if you're interested. But otherwise, in the comments below, if you've seen Cinderella, what's your favorite story version of it? Do you like the Grimm's version of it? Do you like the Disney version? Just kind of let me know how you feel about it if you're looking forward to this movie. But otherwise, if you like what you see on the channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, guys.